Looks like we're working. Looks like we're working. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Well, me and my husband went down to Honolulu to grab ourselves some lunch. I went to a place called oh God, what is it called? It's a little Thai place down on Nimitz Avenue. Really nice, great place, wonderful. Right next door to it is a place called Other Realms, which is a game store. So I stopped in there, and what did they have? A bunch of Battletech stuff. Was not expecting this. I did not think this was out yet. I knew this was out. I did not think the new beginner box was out yet. But it is. It's really cool. So I picked one of those up. It's $20. I figured, well, I'm not necessarily a Battletech beginner. I figured it had some cool stuff in there, and if you're getting to check it out on the stream and all, it'd be worth the, like, you know, $2 or whatever difference, you know, because you got two mechs in there, you got a board, you've got a little rules thing. It's pretty sweet. A little blog, a little storybook. So we're gonna check that out together. We also, I've been trying to get one of these forever because every time we play Alpha Strike, me and my one friend, we use these, and they're super cool. This is an initiative deck for Battletech. Really, they're intended for classic Battletech, but they work really cool for Alpha Strike as well. So I really wanted one of these. They finally had it, so I was super happy to get it. So that's super cool. So happy to get both these. We're gonna start off with the beginner box today, and then we'll check out the initiative deck. That one's a little bit more niche. Beginner box, I feel like it's a little more like everybody kind of friendly. So, if that makes sense, as I knock everything over. I'm tired from streaming this morning and then going right out. So, little beat. So I apologize if I'm a little beat. But yeah, really cool box art. This is the new mech, too, that's in the box. Because I think you get this, and I think you get a griffin. Right? I think this is a griffin. I don't know. We'll see when we crack it open. But yeah, really cool. Really nice, like sturdy, good box. I love these Battletech boxes. I save them and use them for all kinds of stuff. Because they're really good, strong boxes. Alright. Let's see what we got in here. Alright. We have the Golden Rule. A Colby's Commandos Mission by William H. Keith Jr. That's a dragon there. And what I think is a commando. So that commando is about to have a really, really bad time. But yeah, it's just a nice little piece of narrative. These are really fun little stories. They're usually like one or two kind of little engagement sort of things. That just sort of gives you like a taste of the world, I guess. One of my favorite ones that came in the previous one was the Clan Box. Had a really cool story about a lady that was like stuck on the side of a hill and was like sliding down, and she had to like shoot mechs while she was sliding. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. But it's nice for all the stuff that you don't know. They give you a nice glossary, just to explain what things are. And then the really neat thing is you get pictures of the mechs and stuff that are in here. So if you don't know what they are, they're right here. So, you know, this is what a locust looks like. This is what a catapult looks like. You know, it's pretty cool. So it's a nice little thing to go with it. It's just like a nice like little primer story, which is pretty cool. It should have been a simple job. Durant Carlyle's Grayson's father and his fellow commanders were hired to protect the isolated mining planet of Golandrians from a local warlord and his own mercenaries. But things are rarely as they seem near the periphery. And what should have been an easy seek and destroy mission turns into something much more dangerous for Durant and his people. And when the true nature of the enemy's Merc's mission is revealed, Kobe's commandos will have to learn a new set of rules if they're going to survive. So yeah, just a cool little story. I really like that they put these in here. Not because there was some like amazing work of fiction or anything like that, but because it's a really nice primer that kind of like sets the world. Alright, see what we got. So these are the tits. That's what these are. I love these. They're so cool. So these are half a mech sheet. So in Battletech, you play with these big paper sheets, and this is essentially just the top half of it. So this is a simplified version of what you normally play Battletech with. So you've got your armor skeleton here with all your pips, right? So as you take damage, you fill in these. For every 1 point of damage, you fill in a pip. You know, you have your rough stats here, all your different weapons work. It looks like we've got a locust, what are you? You're a griffin. I was about to say, you're a wolverine? No, you're a griffin. There's the Vindicator. This is the new guy in the box. Man, he's got a lot of life. Look at that. He's got a cute, like, kind of little duck face. Oh, and, let me talk about these real quick, too. So, in the back, there's usually something, too, which is really cool. So, in this case, it's art. Sometimes they're, like, little stories. Yeah, so here's just, like, a background on the mech. Like, when it came out, how many variants there are. Just really cool, like, story stuff. So that one's got a piece of art for House Steiner. This one's got another nice little background talking about all the different stuff it has. And we got a really cool piece of art. It's like Star League trying to attack the Earth or something there. And then more like details. So it looks like for each 2 of these we get a piece of art and then some details. So this one's got all of our details on it, and that's for the Thunderbolt. I love the Thunderbolt. It is such a cool looking robot. I love asymmetric robots though. God, I just love robots. Robots are so fucking cool. Sorry. I love Battletech. There's the Thunderbolt having not a good time after being shot in the back by that other dude there. Is that the Griffin? No, it's not a Griffin, right? No. That's I don't know what you are. You're like the Griffin. This one used to be in the other starter box. But yeah, so these are cool. These are really neat. They're like a simplified way to play Battletech. Like, because normally when you play Battletech, you have like another section down here, and it has all the internal structures, and then how your crits work, and like all this like super complicated information, how tracking all your heat and stuff. This is the same thing, but without all the like really complicated stuff. So this is like 0.5 version of Battletech. It's like just easier to play. It's cool. It's cool. All right, guess we should look at the cool little dudes. Oh God, I love his little duck bill. Or I guess it could be like a pug face too. Kind of could be a little pug face. He's got that big blaster on the arm there. He's a lot more armored than I thought he would be from the box. He's a lot denser. He is kind of like a weird little robot pug. I dig it. Yeah, that's super cool. So that's the Vindicator, and this is the Griffin. So this guy used to come in the other starter box as well. He's just a nice... Oh my God. I keep punching this thing in my head. He's just a nice overall mech. Oh, this base is different. This base is different? Yeah. The bases are made out of a different plastic. Interesting. Still feels good. I mean, all this Catalyst Game Lab stuff feels phenomenal. Like, it really just feels so good. And they have such nice little details. Sometimes you have to clean up a little bit of flash or mold line or whatever, but really they're phenomenal. I can't sing enough praises about Battletech. All right. Oh my God, where's the edge to open this thing up? Alright, so these are pilot cards. So we've got Gia Yawen and Emeka Kalu, Eknorai Vasuni, and Ifan Baker. And we've got name a pilot card essentially. So I believe some of those are from that. There's a chicken outside my window having a shit fit. This is the chicken outside my window. Alright, we got some dice. Pretty. They're just white dice. They're not super interesting. These could have been cooler. These could have definitely been cooler. They're just like whatever. Alright. Pull that plastic insert out. And get down to business. This is the quick start rules. Alright, so I got the sequence in play, walking, attack phase, initiative phase, movement phase. Talks about movement, your movement dice being white, black, and red, depending on what you did, which is pretty cool. And then different kinds of tiles, which is pretty sweet. Because one of the things to note about Battletech is that Battletech is a simulation game. Let me rephrase that. Battletech Alpha Strike, no. Battletech Classic is a simulation game. Battletech Alpha Strike is a war game. That is to mean that like the positions of your mech and stuff are all actually conceptually relative. They're not actual positions. So your mech might stand on a square here. The square is actually representing a 30-foot like hexagon of space in the real world. So like you're not actually standing on top of a couple of trees. You're standing in a clump of trees here. Things like that. All right. Talks about arcs, how to make your gator. Walks you through how to do that, which is your gunnery skill, attacker movement modifier, target movement modifier, terrain modifier, and range modifier. Terrain modifier, the reason it's a 0 there in the word gator is because of obstructions. That's what that's for. And then we've got all the different tables. There's a cluster hit table. How to do groupings and all kinds of stuff. And then we've got looks like some scenarios here on how to use Mech Warrior cards if you want to. They're a fun little weird thing, but they're cool. Oh wow, I really like how that one looks. The white with the purple lines, that looks a really nice looking color scheme. Okay, let's see. And then it tells you where to go from there. There's a lot of options. And then we've got a cheat sheet here on the back. Not gonna lie, classic Battletech is pretty crunchy and pretty complex. You can play it more simply, but it's a pretty dense nugget. But it's also very fun because of how dense it is. Like it's really fun to roll this big shot of rockets being like right, and you roll where they all hit because they just like scatter and hit all over the enemy mech and stuff. And it's really fun. It's super fun. It's a good time. Yeah, I like classic Battletech. I will say I like Alpha Strike a lot more. Alpha Strike's actually my favorite war game. I think it's like super good, super good. So that's our quick start rules. What is this? An instant guide to the inner sphere. Battletech is a science fiction space opera set in the traditional militarized universe of the 31st century. Humanity has spread to the stars and spawned titanic interstellar empires, each controlling hundreds of worlds across a combined region of space stretching more than 1,000 light years. So this is just giving you a nice little primer on what Battletech is. There's some really cool classic art there. I don't have any nostalgia for this art, but I really dig it. I like the classic art. Alright, and here's the inner sphere. So House Merrick, House Liao, Davion, Kurita, and Steiner. We're going to be seeing these guys again in a minute. So that's pretty cool. And then what battle mechs are and what mech hoarders are. So pretty fun stuff. Pretty cool. Just a nice little overview. And then here's an ad for some metal mechs. If you don't want just the plastics, the plastics are phenomenal though. They're so good. And then one of the coolest things about Battletech, if you didn't have miniatures at all, you could play with these little paper cutouts. So here they are. They're really nice. And then this is extra terrain if you want to add it to your board. These are really cool. And the cool thing is on the back of the cutouts is actually the back. So that's pretty sweet. No, stay in there. Thank you. Alright. And last but not least, we've got ourselves a Battletech Classic map with all the numbered positions and all the terrain and stuff laid out. This one looks very straightforward. It looks, yeah, it's pretty much a field with some terrain. That's nice and easy. And then this is pretty much the same. So there's no variation in elevation or anything on this. Sometimes these go, like the land goes up and down with hills and stuff. This looks just like cover, and that's it. So that's pretty cool. That's really nice and easy map. Double printer on each side, good paper. I like the Battletech paper maps. They're really nice. They're never as nice as like a game mat, but they're so much better than like what GW gives you for paper mats. Because if you ever get one of their paper mats from like the Necromunda starter or something, it'll be like completely busted before you even open it. Alright. Go on. You know, we'll just leave it open. Screw it. Alright. So, last look at our little mech buddies before I move on to the next guy. There they are. They're pretty sweet. They're pretty badass. Alright, next thing to check out. This is an initiative deck. Now, there are a couple different ways to play with this. I'm hoping there's a card. So I can, otherwise I'll just spell it out. But instead of rolling dice, essentially you can draw a card and it tells you who goes first and who and like what special effect you get. So is there a freak snowstorm that abruptly blankets the battlefield in line of sight killing flurries? Perhaps a defective armor plate on one of your pivotal mechs means the next strike from an enemy weapon does more damage than normal. Or perhaps the enemy lance attempting to flank your position has a lieutenant that expertly reads the terrain and pushes his forces through quicker than normally possible. You've read about your favorite Battletech characters encountering and overcoming such difficulties. With the Initiative Act, you can see if you're up to facing such challenges as well. With 5 suits of 13 cards, 2 Star-Lord cards, and the rules booklet, this deck shakes up initiative like you've never seen before. So, how me and my friend have used these. We basically just pick a deck, and then we draw a card at the start. And whoever has the highest suit is the one that goes first. So, and then sometime in that round, you have to use whatever's on the card. That's how we use them. We'll check the official rules, though. But let's look at the cards first. There we go. We'll check the cards out first. So you also do get 5 suits. So that means that you can have 5 people playing a game with these. Or you can go through and pick which one you want. So let me sort them out. Boo, boo, boo. Merrick, Liao. These are like the special cards. And we've got, I think it's Davian. And Karita. And there should be the rest of Steiner. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's check some of them out. Replace this card with any other card in your discard pile. Select another player's initiative card or environmental effect. This card's effects do not apply this turn. Discard the card in the end phase. Select unit, remove 1 damage from hits taken on a mechs or aerospace fighter. Friendly units receive +1 to consciousness rolls and are not subject to force withdrawal, demoralization, or morale checks this turn. 1 friendly unit may reduce its MP by 2 in exchange for +1 target number modifier. So that's kind of what these are going to do. They're going to, if a selected unit moves toward an enemy, it may move 1 additional hex toward the enemy for free, regardless of MP cost. So that's what these are going to do. They're going to just throw weird, random shit in that you can use in a round, which is really cool. Any friendly unit may reduce its MP by 2. This is the plus MP, plus attack modifier one. Select 1 enemy unit. It cannot make weapons attacks against 1 selected fighter until 1 selected fighter unit this turn. Pretty cool stuff, right? And they're all kind of themed, right? So the Liao ones there are just kind of about being a dickhead. These ones are about like lots of super firepower. So in this one, you basically get to try to make a headshot. You get to remove damage. You get all kinds of extra stuff. There's a selected unit that does +5 damage with all physical attacks this turn. Alright, that's pretty cool for House Steiner. There's a winter effect for just, there's a snowstorm on the thing. This one just increases damage of your attacks, right? Like they're all kind of themed to each faction. Like the Liao one is about just sort of like debuffing and being a pain in the ass. The Steiner one's about doing a lot of damage. I think the Merrick ones are really about like chance, if that makes sense. Yeah, if the selected unit doesn't run or jump. If this card wins initiative, you gain +2. Yeah, so these ones are kind of about chance, and then you get weird bonuses if you win. Right, we'll look through all the cards and then we'll read the rules. So these are, say, friendly units receive +1 to consciousness. Selected unit receives +2 target movement modifier. Selected unit doesn't run or jump. It gains modifier to modifiers. There's rainfall. Any charges or death from above attacks by friendly units do double damage to both target and attacker. That's cool. Yeah, so they're cool. Now, there are repeats between them, which is fine. I mean, you don't want them to be completely unique, right? But flanking, jamming, second wind, target modifier. This one's really cool. You basically get battlefield support points to call in like artillery and stuff. So that one's really cool. Attack declaration. It's now dusk or dawn. Yeah, it's cool stuff. What's luck of the fox? Players' units may reroll any dice result this turn. One reroll per unit must accept the secondary result. You have to add +5 to the heat if you keep this running. It's pretty cool. So yeah, so they're just pretty sweet. They're a nice way to do initiative, and they actually really work for Alpha Strike. Weirdly, because I know they're intended for classic Battletech, but they work really good for Alpha Strike. And when it's like, oh, you gain +1 hex, just, I mean, the hex is like an inch. Just add an inch to your movement. Like, you know, it's not hard to figure out, and it works really well. So how me and my friend usually use them is you take one of the decks, you shuffle it, and then you draw a card. The person with the highest card wins initiative, and then that turn you have to use whatever's on the card. Right? Another way that we've used them before is you draw, because usually things are like 6 turns, you draw 6 cards, and you can use whatever one you want, right? So you might draw like a really high card, and you might really want initiative this turn, so then you play it like that. Alright, let's see. Okay. Unequal units. Alternative initiative. The initiative deck can be used as an alternate way to determine initiative each turn, dealing out cards to players instead of rolling dice. These rolls are especially useful for games which involve either many players, many units, or both. Before play begins, players must determine if initiative will be determined by each player for each formation. By default, initiative should be determined by each player. However, in a large-scale game, so if you have like squads, you can do it by squad instead. All right. Sorry, that was driving me bonkers. I didn't think my teeth for like literally all day. Okay. Did it say anything else? Each of the cards in the Battletech Initiative deck contains text that introduce bonus penalties and various game effects when combined with the following rolls. These cards add additional layers and tactics and suspense and fun, beyond the randomness of the initiative roll each turn. Bear in mind that the initiative effect rolls are intended to spice up a game of Battletech, surprising twists and turns, so unexpected situations may arise. Okay. Okay. It's told me that you pick based on units or you pick based on players twice, but it hasn't told me how to determine Who wins? If there are any players without an initiative card, deal cards from the initiative deck to those players. If the initiative deck ever runs out of cards, reshuffle the discard pile into a new initiative deck. Once all players or formations have initiative cards, starting with the highest card, players possessing a jam transmission card must announce if they will activate it. Once a jam transmission card has been activated, players announce if they're activating their initiative card to utilize its effects. Again, stating that the highest card to activate the card, players must in turn to sideways. Blah 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 blah. That's a lot of fucking words, man. Battletech, what you doing? All right, these instructions suck. These instructions suck a lot. Apparently, you can play it as poker or Drax. And here's the official way to do the Alpha Strike conversions. We just read them and sort of converted them on the fly. It wasn't really very hard. But yeah, so those instructions suck. They suck ass, and not in a good ass sucking kind of way. Those instructions really suck. But these cards are phenomenal. So again, how we always used them was like this. So these guys are going to be Davion. Right? These guys are going to be Kurita. Right? So you'd shuffle up your cards. Right? Like this. Like that, right? And then every initiative phase, I draw a card, and they draw a card. Alright? An ace is a 1. That's a 7. I go first. Now I have to use this effect somewhere during the battle. And they have to use theirs, or they can just discard it for this turn. Alright? So that's how we usually use them. Really nice and simple and straightforward. Or... Alright. There's my cards. There's my deck of hands, right? And now I've got a hand. Right, so I've got 6 or 7 different cards here that are all upside down. Right, I've got 6 or 7 different cards here. And now every time initiative comes up, I can choose to play one of these. So I've got a 7 in here, which is super, which is pretty high number. So if I really wanted to have initiative during this initiative turn, I could choose to play this. And that means I can now have this effect in action as well. But if I choose to play one, my enemy might choose to play a higher number if they have one. They have a 7, right? Right? Or they might be like, okay, well, you're going to definitely get initiative, so I'm just going to use the one that I don't want to use, right? So, 2 different ways that we've played with them, with the initiative cards. The official instructions are fucking wordy and not very clear, or my brain is just being stupid, which is also a full, complete possibility, alright? But yeah, so that's the initiative decks. They're pretty boss. I enjoy playing with them a lot. I think they add a nice bit of randomness to the game, I'm not going to lie. But I like adding randomness to all my games. I want the games to be kind of like wonky and fun. I don't want them to be like very competitive, I guess. That's not what I'm about. I'm about like silly random shit, like suddenly it's blizzarding, you know what I mean? That's what I'm about. But yeah, so they're pretty cool. They're a lot of fun. I'm really happy to have one of these decks finally. My friend that has his is moving away, so it seems like perfect timing. So that's pretty cool. Even if the default instructions are dumb. And these guys are really cool little mechs. And you got a lot of nice stuff. in the starter box. Neat little rules book. These really cool little pamphlets. Awesome little cutouts. And a nice little paper mat. The only disappointing in this whole book is these shoddy dice. But besides that, it's pretty boss. So, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call it there. Thank you guys for watching. I just wanted to open this up. Like I said, I'm just getting back from lunch right now. Went out to lunch with my husband. And I'm just getting back. Sort of grabbed this just because they had it. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Pick that up. But yeah, just sort of getting back from lunch. I'm going to go wind down and chill probably for the rest of the day. And I will catch you all tomorrow for Space Station 0, Challenge 6 with the Space Otters. I am very excited, if you can't tell. I am like super hyped. So it's going to be really good. So that'll be tomorrow. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call it there. Thank you guys for watching, and keep on keeping on.